Welcome to a world where shootings, kidnappings and gang warfare are just part of the job. We're going on the journey to meet the real deal. Law enforcers who put their lives on the line every day, patrolling the most dangerous beats on the planet. So buckle up, because we're about to roll with the world's toughest cops. Sao Paulo, Brazil. This vast, densely populated metropolis is the biggest city in South America. It's home to 18 million people, where extremes of rich and poor live side by side. In Brazil's economic capital, 20% of the population live in slums or favelas. Such a divide means that robbery, kidnap and urban violence are just a part of normal everyday life. Each year in this one city, there are almost 10 times as many murders as the whole of the UK. To make matters worse, heavily armed criminal organisations are vying for control of the streets. Here, if you're a cop, you're a marked man.
It's a war. It's an urban war.
Eu acho que o homem sem medo é um homem que vive pouco.
Se nós tivéssemos sido subjugados, fomos reféns e talvez até fôssemos mortos. Volta! Volta, maluco! Você aí, maluco!
Brazil is the largest country in Latin America. Its biggest city, Sao Paulo, lies 50 miles from the coast in the southwest of the country. Tackling crime in such a heaving cauldron of people needs more than just a regular police force. This is the Special Operations Group, or GOI. Highly trained and heavily armed, GOI step in when things get too hot for the regular cops. The 26-year-old GOI officer, Rafael Marson, has been part of the unit since he was 19.
Sao Paulo is a very dangerous place to be a police officer. It's a war, it's an urban war. And the criminals, they look the police officers and see personal enemies. They have more sophisticated weapons than the police officers. M15, AK-47.
In the last 5 years, the Sao Paulo police have seized almost 80,000 illegal firearms. 9 out of 10 murders here involve guns, and with 20 police officers killed every year in the city, the cops can't take any chances.
I have a gun 24/7. I sleep with my weapon under my pillow. You can be with your family in a restaurant and you have a robber there. If they find out you're a policeman, they will probably kill you.
Every day, GOI patrol the streets, but they were created to carry out specialist operations. Rafael and partner Jerson are called back to the base, where an extortion case is unfolding. A woman has reported that she is being threatened by a criminal gang. They have stolen her car and are now forcing her to pay them money to get the vehicle back. GOI are setting up a sting operation to catch the men. The victim will go along with the gang's demands, but undercover officers will be lying in wait.
Our team will be in the surroundings, just waiting for a sign. When she gives us a sign, we just go and try to catch these guys. gunfight in a public location. We need to concern about the woman, the victim, that will be dealing with the criminals.
After crossing the city, Raphael's unit arrived close to the sting and wait out of sight. But now the gang are stalling on giving the victim a final meeting point.
The criminals are calling the victim, but they're saying, okay, wait, we're gonna call in 10 minutes. We're deciding what location we're gonna meet.
It's a waiting game for Goy, but that's just part of the job. Then, 2 hours later, as it looks like the operation might come to nothing,
the undercover team asked for our support. We don't know exactly what is happening there.
Próxima padaria, a próxima direita. Primeira dentro de toda a padaria, já tem o pessoal lá como comando.
as the cops storm the scene, one of the suspects, the man with the crash helmet, is caught.
We catched one of the guys who were in charge of receiving the money.
Although the other gang members are nowhere to be seen, it's still a positive result.
There is a big chance we can catch the other guys. Once you have the first guy, he can tell us where are the other guys.
Crucially, the victim and all the officers have come through the experience unharmed.
We didn't have a gunfight, no one wounded. Everybody is going home, and tomorrow we'll have another day.
We're with the cops in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where violent crimes such as murder, rape and armed assault are an everyday thing. For the last 5 years, there has been an average of 14 murders a day in Sao Paulo. A quarter of all Brazil's murders happen here, which makes this one of the busiest police departments in the city. Homicide. About to start the night shift is Chief Inspector Jose Eduardo. Eduardo has been hunting killers for 16 years, so he knows all about the dangers of the job.
Tenho medo, sempre atento. Só que é um medo que eu controlo. Passo isso aos meus policiais. Tenha medo, mas saiba controlar esse medo numa eventual ação. Eu acho que o homem sem medo é um homem que vive pouco. Vocês estão sem medo agora. Vocês não estão sem medo? Até começarem a atirar na gente, pode ser? Aí nós temos que ficar com medo.
Being a detective puts his young children at risk too.
Eu tenho receio de um dia meus filhos, eu me encontrar numa situação difícil, num assalto, e meus filhos, por serem crianças, serem inocentes, e criança fala o que vem à mente. Meu pai é um policial, e aí o bandido vai realmente agir diferente.
Like most nights in Sao Paulo, it's not long before the call comes.
Te recebeu agora no DHPP pela sala de e-mails.
A prison guard has been killed on his way home from work. It looks like a simple case of robbery gone wrong, but experience has taught Eduardo to assume nothing.
Por ele ser agente penitenciário, a gente não pode descartar alguma vingança.
The first stop is the morgue. The victim initially survived the shooting, but died by the time he reached the hospital.
Os tiros ele tomou, hein?
Tá, 6 tiros.
6 tiros?
Nas costas.
Eduardo immediately gets to work, questioning the friends and relatives of the victim.
Agora você acha que foi assalto, não?
Hã?
Você acha que foi assalto?
Não, eu acho que não foi assalto, não. Pelo que já falei, eu acho que alguém encontrou com ele, né?
Ok.
Os caras, os presos. Pelo que ele tá saindo direto daí de Guarulhos, ele leva preso direto. Então acho que encontraram com ele ali naquela quebrada e
Você tem,
atiraram
você tem
nele.
uma dica de quem foi? Entre nós não vai pro papel.
Mediante aqui, o que o irmão falou, disse que o irmão dele conhece, já sabe quem é.
The victim's brother was one of the last people to be seen with him, but now he's mysteriously disappeared.
Conhece, já sabe quem é.
E é estranho o irmão dele não estar aqui. Eu não gosto disso. Que esteve com ele no momento antes do crime. Eu quero ver de perto.
Acho que alguém aqui é mentiroso.
Acho, mas para sobreviver. As pessoas aqui têm medo de falar.
With a strong lead and the clock ticking, Eduardo heads off to check the crime scene. This is a city whose recent history witnessed one of the most violent battles between the cops and an organised criminal gang. Primero Comando de Capital, or PCC, are Sao Paulo's most powerful criminal organisation. Originally a prison gang seeking to avenge poor treatment in Sao Paulo's jails, their influence now extends far beyond the prison gates. As well as drug dealing, extortion and murder, the group have led a terror campaign against public officials and the police. In May 2006, Sao Paulo came under siege as the PCC burned public property and prisons erupted in rebellion. In a series of organised attacks, 40 police officers were gunned down in one weekend. Allegations of heavy-handed police response makes the PCC a controversial subject. Some claim they are now under control. For others, the threat still looms over the city. At GOI, the Special Operations Group, they are always preparing for the worst. Rafael Marston and his team are put through their paces every week.
Vai pegar o Zeca!
In charge is Senior Officer Paulinho Cesar.
Bora, bora, é o último!
Sim, nós rezamos aqui. Nós pedimos a Santa Maria Mãe de Deus que nos perdoe pelas pessoas que nós vamos matar. Que elas permitam que o tiro do nosso rifle atinja e destrua os corações malditos. E que Deus Nosso Senhor receba essas almas e as mande de volta à terra para que nós possamos matá-los novamente. Amém.
No matter how hard they train, cops in Sao Paulo can never completely remove the risks of the job. Just a week earlier, a GOI officer was killed.
É devastador sempre, é muito difícil. Nós somos todos muito unidos, é perder um irmão, literalmente.
Rafael Terrar was off duty when he got caught up in a bank robbery. Brazilian law states that the police are obliged to act against crime 24/7. As he tried to apprehend the robbers, he was shot dead.
Esse comprometimento dele fez dele uma referência para nós aqui, de como trabalhar bem. Simplesmente perfeito, um cara que cumpria todas as tarefas que você passasse para ele com simplicidade e com muita eficiência.
Terrell's killers are still on the run, but Goy have to put their emotions to one side as the job of policing some of the most dangerous streets on the planet goes on. Tonight they are preparing to make an insursion into one of the city's slums. Sao Paulo has the largest slum population in South America, with its favelas crammed in between the city's high-rise apartment buildings. While many are thriving communities, some are hotbeds of crime and violence. They provide havens for criminals, and gangs are in control, many with PCC links. The favelas are often unpoliceable or simply off-limits to the cops. One of these is Charles Colombo, where Goy are heading tonight.
It's a very, very dangerous neighborhood. It's the enemy territory. When you do a patrol in a favela, you can always get shot.
They are heading in to search known drug dealing locations.
The bad guys are in strategic positions, ready to defend and ready to combat. They see any police officer approaching. At night, it's very dangerous. There are a lot of guys buying drugs at this time. Now we turn off the lights because we are approaching to the favela. Looking a little quiet.
Quiet streets mean high risk for police. If the drug dealers are active when the cops arrive, local people stay in their homes for fear of getting caught in the crossfire. The team are looking for known drug dealing locations, but the ever-changing maze of unfamiliar alleys make patrolling favelas difficult and dangerous.
Muda quase que diariamente. O corredor que está aqui hoje, amanhã não vai estar mais. E o corredor que hoje tem, amanhã não tem saída.
Round the next corner, Paulinho thinks he spotted something.
Limpo. Essas escadas posicionadas assim, que não dão em lugar nenhum, são as escadas da fuga do tráfico. É sinal que o pessoal do tráfico fica por aqui.
They proceed with caution.
Limpou comigo. Limpou. Vai. Limpou, vai.
On this occasion, they find nothing. It's not safe for the cops to stay in the favela for too long, so they fall back to the patrol cars.
Vem!
The dealers were probably tipped off about their arrival, but for Paulinho, just having a presence here is a success for the police.
É importante que a gente mantenha a presença constante nessas favelas de maior risco. Então, se a gente não vier fazer patrulhas nessas favelas, o crime toma conta. Foi um trabalho muito bom.
It's the end of the night shift for Goy. Sao Paulo never sleeps, and neither do the police. As dawn breaks, the investigation continues for Chief Inspector Eduardo from Homicide. Five hours earlier, a prison guard was shot dead in what at first looked like a robbery gone wrong.
Aqui onde ele caiu,
The crime scene isn't revealing much, but Eduardo has a lead. The victim's brother was one of the last people seen with him. He's now been tracked down, and Eduardo is keen to see what he knows. For his own safety, his identity has been obscured.
Eu quero e preciso saber a real agora. Já.
Vou contar.
Então mandei.
Eu
quero saber dos caras que fizeram essa papagaiada aí.
A ideia é o seguinte, tem um cara que é amigo
Do dele.
conhecido dele, que tava com ele lá na hora.
Quem é o cara?
Esse maluco mora lá na favela. Se não foi ele sabe quem foi, que ele tá junto.
The victim was seen leaving a bar with some suspicious characters just before he died. One of them was a local man, Mr. F, who is now missing.
Mas o que está mais me chamando a atenção, o que eu acho mais estranho é que se eu estava junto com o Denis e também tomou tiro, junto com outro rapaz que a gente não sabe quem é, onde estão esses baleados? Não tem lugar nenhum, porque tinha muito tiro lá. Várias cápsulas. E o Denis tomou 2 tiros. Não é isso? Então, cadê o Não está em hospital. Isso que está estranho.
Mr. F is now the prime suspect. As every minute passes, catching the killer becomes more difficult. They've got to move quickly to track down the suspect, Mr. F.
Só ele pode explicar o que aconteceu ontem à noite. A gente está indo na casa da mãe para ver se nós encontramos o Fernando lá.
It's urban warfare, and the cops are fighting a daily battle that they patrol one of the toughest beats on the planet. A place that witnesses almost 100 murders a week. This is Brazil. This is Sao Paulo. In a city of 18 million, violent crime is everywhere. Gangs, drugs, casual violence and organised crime ensure that Sao Paulo police are always busy. We're with Homicide. Just 7 hours after last night's murder, Chief Inspector Eduardo is heading to the address of the prime suspect. Chasing a lethal killer is risky enough, but it's not the only danger Eduardo faces around here.
É perigoso porque existe muito tráfico de entorpecente, muito traficante. Os traficantes podem achar que nós estamos atrás deles e eles geralmente fazem confronto com a polícia.
As they pull up round the corner from the address, Eduardo receives backup from the local police.
Polícia.
The door is open and Eduardo enters the house.
Polícia. Cadê seu marido?
Não sei, senhor, desde ontem eu vim pra casa, dormi.
It seems only the suspect's wife is at home.
A senhora sabe por que eu tô aqui, né? Você vai junto, larga a mão de ser besta que você tem 2 filhos. Cobertando.
O que acontece que o senhor tá falando que eu tô
Não fica cobertando?
Não tô entendendo.
O que você tá
O
sabendo?
senhor tá achando aqui na minha casa que o senhor tá falando?
O que você tá sabendo?
Eu não tô sabendo de nada.
Although Mr. F's absence continues to be suspicious, after 20 minutes of questioning, the police are no closer to finding out where he is. It's a frustrating outcome for Eduardo.
O que você acha, Arnaldo, que ela tá mentindo?
Eu acho que ela está encobrindo, porque ele não está aí, que ele não sabe exatamente. Ela não sabe se ele matou, mas que ela está assustada, bastante assustada.
The vast chaos of the favelas makes catching criminals here almost impossible.
Ele pode estar em qualquer barraco daqueles. Qualquer barraco daqueles. É uma agulha num palheiro. É muito difícil. Precisaria ter uma bola de cristal hoje para saber.
It's also hard to get the cooperation of local people.
As pessoas têm medo. Então não se conta as coisas. Vai contar quem foi para quê? Para morrer?
The investigation will go on, but for now, it's the end of a long night for Eduardo and his team. It's not just the civil police who are trying to maintain law and order. This is the military police. The military police don't investigate crime. They're a preventative force, a deterrent to stop people stepping out of line in the first place. These Special Operations Commandos are a rapid reaction unit, trained to operate both in the city and in the jungle. About to start another job is military policeman Lieutenant Jose Gonçalves.
Vamos dar tchau pro papai. E ela vai achar que vai sair.
Dá um beijo aqui já pra você na foto. Tchau, minha filha. Ó, essa aqui é uma bênção que eu sempre dou, não é hoje não, viu?
After 20 years service, Gonçalves keeps a gun by his side at all times.
Tchau, papai.
É como a gente vestir uma calça pra vir trabalhar de manhã, é eu pegar minha arma, né?
And with a new baby daughter, he's never been more aware of the dangers of the job.
Com a chegada da bebê, a gente se preocupa muito mais porque agora a minha vida tem um valor muito maior, né? Não existe dia sem perigo, né? Basta que a gente esteja na rua, especialmente fardado, para que a gente possa se tornar um ponto de referência ou um alvo, né? Céu, vamos! Vem, vem.
Gonçalves and his men are enacting a new zero-tolerance approach in a nearby favela, known as a saturation operation. The aim is to fill the once lawless streets with a new heavy police presence. This is favela Rio Agua Claro, home to 250,000 people on the southern outskirts of Sao Paulo. Rates of violent crime have become so bad here that the regular police were completely overwhelmed. Just outside the favela, the commandos regroup for a final briefing.
Então, ponta 1, ponta 2, tá? Retaguarda 1, retaguarda 2 e nós dois. Fechou? Vou. Agora a gente vai entrar na área de favela, propriamente dito, ok? Na área um pouco mais difícil. Exige um pouco mais de cuidado agora e disciplina.
With 20 cops killed on duty every year in Sao Paulo, they move with caution. But nonetheless, the aim of the operation is to be visible and make their presence felt.
A gente procura pessoas foragidas da justiça, qualquer tipo de entorpecente ou armamento. Você trabalha com o quê? O infrator comum, né, que é aquele que depõe as armas e se rende, e aquele que resiste até a morte. O perigo é a gente ser atingido na resistência à prisão, ele atentar contra a gente.
Many criminals here would sooner kill a cop or take their chances in a gunfight than get arrested. Going to prison means entering a world of gang violence, terrible conditions and overcrowding. As a result, prison rebellions are common in Sao Paulo. Gonçalves was part of the unit called to quash a rebellion at Franco de Rocha Penitentiary in 2001. The prisoners had barricaded the gates and were savagely beating 3 guards.
Fizeram reféns utilizando facas e armados de revólver também. Eles tinham 3 reféns. E a situação foi piorando a partir do momento que balearam o refém.
The police had to act fast. They decided to strike from the air. But with just 2 choppers available, only a handful of cops could go in. Not exactly a mission for the faint-hearted. 8 officers stepped up. One of them was Gonçalves.
2 aeronaves com 8 policiais. E para conter a rebelião de vários infratores, né? Eu podia dizer para você que tinham mais de 100 infratores no teto.
The cops were armed with rubber bullets in their shotguns.
E assim, aonde eles não esperavam, as aeronaves se aproximaram. Se nós tivéssemos sido subjugados, nos reféns e talvez até fôssemos mortos. Realmente é taquicardia, adrenalina.
The decision to go in hard and fast had paid off as they brought the mob under control.
Conseguimos resgatar o refém, mas se nós não tivéssemos chegado a tempo com a aeronave, mais gente poderia ter morrido. São coisas que a gente não vai esquecer jamais.
Back downtown is another of Sao Paulo's elite police squads. This is the headquarters of the Department of Investigation's Armed Response Unit, GARA. GARA stands for Group Armed to Repress Robbery and Assault. Agent Valdisa Vieira has been in the unit 7 years. With the Angel Gabriel watching over them, GARA's 200 officers are ready to respond if their support is needed.
Ponhamos todas as delegacias do DEIC, lá existem delegacias especializadas contra o crime organizado, entendeu? Então lá tem delegacias contra roubos e furtos, de roubo a bancos, departamento de narcóticos.
While they're on call, Vieira and his partner Fernandez patrol the city's crime hotspots.
Sempre a arma preparada, sempre a arma na mão. Porque se eu deixar ela no coldre, guardada, até eu tirar a arma, pode não dar tempo de uma reação instantânea, entendeu? Já aconteceu situação de que eu fui que o perigo é iminente, de morrer ou matar alguém. Já fui várias.
The average wage for a cop in Sao Paulo is $300 a week. For many like Vieira, they don't do it for the money.
É um sacerdócio. Você tem que fazer aquilo por amor. Então, qualquer salário que seja, poderia ser um absurdo. Se você não gostasse de fazer o trabalho policial, ele seria um péssimo policial, entendeu?
The Sao Paulo police process over 200,000 violent crimes every year, as well as more than 8,000 drug-related offences. The vast majority of crime happens after dark.
É o confronto.
As they patrol a quiet street, Fernandez spots someone running.
Olha lá, olha lá, olha lá. Correu? Cadê? Onde que entrou? Isso daí? Costa aí.
Levanta o braço, tira a mão, tira a mão.
Tira a mão, meu. Vai, vira de costa pra mim. De costa, de costa.
Vieira searches his pockets and he finds 2 small packets of cocaine.
Não, né? Tem mais alguma coisa? Quantos anos você tem, meu? 15 anos vendendo cocaína aqui na rua. Onde que você pegou? Você vai levar a gente lá agora, então, tá bom?
Então.
The young man has just bought the drugs in a neighboring favela.
Como que é o moleque que você viu?
Tava tudo escuro, tava de tudo.
Você já conhece ele?
Now they've got the location, the plan is to go after the dealers. The favelas are a haven for drug dealers and their lucrative trade. These are no-go areas for the cops. Vieira calls for backup. 3 GARA units will work together to cut the dealers off before they can vanish into the favela.
E 2 permanecerão cuidando das viaturas, né, na parte externa da favela. Nós vamos fazer uma incursão dentro da favela. Essa favela é uma das mais perigosas que nós temos aqui em São Paulo. Tá? Provavelmente a gente encontra alguma resistência lá por parte de traficantes, tá? Então todo cuidado é pouco, muita cautela na hora de entrar nessa favela. O máximo de cuidado, tá?
Acabamos de pegar o peixe pequeno, agora vamos pegar o peixe grande.
Apaga tudo, apaga tudo, apaga tudo.
Brazil is somewhere that conjures up images of bikinis, beaches and football. But for the cops in Sao Paulo, the reality is battling with the gangs of drug dealers, armed with the kind of firepower that you'd usually find on an army. Agent Vieira of the Sao Paulo police has been tipped off about the location of cocaine dealers. With 2 other units, he's heading into one of the city's most notorious favelas.
Apaga tudo, apaga tudo, apaga tudo. Porque nós estamos chegando no local. O bairro crítico também, em questão de segurança também, um bairro crítico, bairro de periferia, tá? Então todo cuidado é pouco aqui nesse local.
They reach the edge of the favela.
Ali. Ah, já tá abordando, tá abordando. Para aí, não entra na frente. Não. Larga, larga!
As the first unit try to stop a group of men, some of them make a run for it into the alleyways.
Correu um. Lá pra dentro. Pra dentro da favela, lá.
Isso é crack. É feito o comércio da droga aqui e estava escondido aqui debaixo das telhas aqui.
The dealers have fled, but as they are probably still close by, Vieira and his team spread out to search the area.
Cai ali. Ó. Aqui.
Around the corner, they think they've spotted some suspects. In the darkness, Vieira calls a signal to make sure they're not police officers.
Hup.
With no reply, they move in.
Ei, volta, volta, volta! Volta, volta! Volta, maluco! Volta, tem mais alguém aí? Volta, volta! Você aí, maluco! Vem, vem! Vem! Passa na parede.
The men are rounded up, along with other suspects, and searched. No drugs are found, but the police check IDs to see if any of them have got previous. Once again, it looks like the favelas have provided the real criminals with an escape route.
Aí nenhum deles está sendo procurado pela justiça também. E não encontramos entorpecente e nada. Quer dizer, eles estão limpos, foram liberados, tá tudo bem, tá?
Despite the disappointment of the dealers getting away, they've obeyed the #1 rule of policing: go home alive. But it's not always that way.
Bom, nesse mesmo local aqui, inclusive nessa mesma entrada que nós entramos agora, que nós fizemos incursão, um outro policial de um outro grupo do Garra, chamado Fabrício, ele veio a óbito aqui, foi baleado por traficantes aqui. Aí morreu aqui nessa favela. Ser baleado aí, entendeu? Então por isso que a gente redobra a atenção, totalmente para que não ocorra nenhum problema como aconteceu com esse colega nosso aí, tá? Só nos encoraja mais a combater o crime.
Slowly the police in Sao Paulo are fighting back. Crime figures have been falling, but there's a long way to go. Back at Goi HQ, it can seem like a never-ending and thankless task for Paulinho Cesar and his men.
O cansaço, o estresse afeta você psicologicamente, é desgastante, é bastante agressivo. E se manter bem aqui é o mais difícil. No primeiro ano, no segundo, no quinto, eu achava... Eu gostava muito. Às vezes eu penso hoje que eu gostaria de não andar mais armado, de não precisar, de poder sair com meu filho um dia e arma em casa. Eu gostaria disso.
Mas não, né?
Impossível. 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 Infelizmente impossível.
Despite the challenges, retirement isn't an option.
Nunca. Nunca. Ser policial para nós é a forma da gente demonstrar para a nossa família o quanto eles são importantes para nós. Dar proteção para as pessoas que a gente ama. É por isso que a gente é policial. Nós acreditamos em servir e proteger. É o que a gente acredita. A gente está aqui para isso.
Welcome to a world where shootings, kidnappings and gang warfare are just part of the job. We're going on the journey to meet the real deal. Law enforcers who put their lives on the line every day, patrolling the most dangerous beats on the planet. So buckle up, because we're about to roll with the world's toughest cops.
Jamaica has one of the highest murder rates in the world, with one committed every 9 hours. Rival gangs have turned parts of the Jamaican capital of Kingston into hostile war zones. And caught in the middle, trying to stop Kingston descending into all-out civil war, is the police.
There's some shooting up in the Concert Spring area. One man has been shot and killed, and a police was also shot and injured.
A 13 Kingston means basically a man's gonna kill him.
Listen to me. I am talking to you. Listen to me. Listen to me.
You have to be the teacher. You have to be the doctor. You have to be the social worker.
You have gun?
It takes good heart, strong will to really continue doing the job.
The shooting, death of a detective sergeant. Yesterday's fatal shooting of an 11-month-old boy ended the life of yet another lawman.
He was shot and killed by gunmen. The murder.
The child was shot in the mouth.
A family is saddened by a double murder.
With a population of just 650,000, Kingston is considered to be one of the murder capitals of the world. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has 7,000 officers in the Caribbean capital. And on the front line of this ongoing violence is 33-year-old patrol officer Corporal Byron Lewis.
This is an M16, and this is the magazine. All right.
Stationed in Kingston's notorious east side, Lewis and the mobile patrol unit are preparing for the 14-hour night shift.
Hopefully, we'll have a peaceful night. Don't want to come out with any injuries. Self-preservation is first. So basically, that's it, and we head out.
Well, I'm a gangster for life. Take your life, take your wife, and everything else. Gangster for life.
Being a cop in Jamaica is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Of the 1,500 gun-related killings committed last year, 19 of them were cops, shot down and killed in the line of duty.
For one, they know that it's a risky job. However, you're out there to save lives. 90% of the time, the situation looks and feels hopeless, but we have to try.
With a basic annual salary of just £2,500, money isn't a motivation.
I'm going to ask the question, if your job is so difficult, why not quit it? But guess what? If you are destined and each and every day you go out there and you have touched someone else's life, you will be overwhelmed to know that, yes, at least I have touched someone and someone has changed. It is the only thing that keeps us going mentally and physically, because we have no other motivation. We're not motivated by the people, we're not motivated by our superiors. And we're not motivated by the salary. We're not motivated by the salary. So it's just the mere fact that, yes, God is here with us and we are doing a good job.
Three hours into the patrol, the dark side of Kingston comes to life.
Noted. Rockford released from East Up Street. Shots been fired at Rockford. So we are on this one.
There are an estimated 32,500 gang members in Kingston, so the cops are outnumbered by more than 4-1. Rockford is one of the city's toughest gang enclaves. 2 patrol cops going in on their own could be suicide. They need to call in backup.
This is the other team.
Why'd you go with no lights, guys?
You don't want them to see you. So what you do, you try to go as close as possible without being detected.
This is a no-go area, even for the cops.
From Portugal.
And there are gunmen on the loose. Suddenly, Lewis and his unit spot a suspicious vehicle.
Living this here, sir? Where you come from?
But I go to the church up the road there.
Oh. What?
I
What
go
church?
to the church that you just passed. We were having a meeting.
Okay.
We were holed up in the church for a long time because of the shots.
For real?
Okay.
Which section they were coming from?
All around us.
All around there?
What's going on? What, did
All
you
right.
just pull that guy over?
Yeah, well, because we want to know if it was the guys that were firing the shot was trying to get out of the community.
They head deeper into gang territory in pursuit of the shooters. It's every cop's worst nightmare. They have no idea what might be around the next corner. Concerned that they might be facing some serious firepower, Lewis calls in the Jamaican army for extra support. They think they have a fix on the gunman's location. Lewis and his team are sitting ducks in the heart of gangland. He has a big decision to make. Does he go in and try to apprehend the gunman? This could result in a major firefight and put the lives of himself and his unit at risk.
With that, we can tell what is to expect and how we can confront it.
This is the everyday reality of being a cop in Kingston. Making decisions that could mean the difference between life and death. Lewis decides the situation is too risky and pulls the units out. This time the gunmen have got away.
There's a thin line between a fool and bravery. It's a thin line. And a lot of people cannot distinguish which is which. So if shot is raining down there and you want to walk out in it, it's, I wouldn't say it's bravery. That's stupidity.
The Jamaican capital of Kingston is a breeding ground for violent crime. So for the cops, each day at work is literally a matter of life or death.
The epidemic of drugs and guns in Jamaica has made Kingston one of the toughest cities in the world to police.
It's my son! Right. Oh my God! God, I will solve the problem! God, give me strength!
The island's location is just 445 miles north of the Colombian coast. South American drug cartels use it to transit their product onto Europe and North America. According to the UN, 10 tons of cocaine comes through Jamaica a year. Charged with the task of preventing drugs from entering Jamaica is Kingston's Marine Patrol. Sergeant Everton Reynolds and his crew have to patrol the Caribbean Sea that surrounds the island. And these waters can be as dangerous as some of Kingston's toughest neighbourhoods.
Of course, if we have to use force, we'll use as much force as is necessary.
Drug smugglers, willing to kill anyone who gets in their way, often pass through these waters trying to get their product onto the island.
Sometimes we are warned that these people, that if intercepted, are heavily harmed. So we carry M16 rifles and sidearms like the Glock pistol. If we should encounter these guys out there, then it's either we protect ourselves or they get the better of us.
Jamaica's fishing industry means that hundreds of small boats sail in these waters, some of which are used to smuggle illegal goods onto the island. With only 12 high-powered boats in the entire unit and over 146 miles of coastline to protect, the odds are stacked against the cops.
We have a target. We are going to intercept that small fishing boat. Come alongside, Chief. Come alongside. We are going to see what he has on board. You have any firearm? No. Right? No. This is one of the challenges that we face out here. It's difficult to search under these nets. One never know what you're going to come upon. When you have fish on board, let me see it. You have gun? What's in the bag there? Don't do anything. What is in your pocket? Tell me what's in your pocket. Oh, take it out, let me see it. All right, cool, easy.
But as well as spot checking the local fishermen, Reynolds always keeps his eye on the bigger catch. Despite the fact that in 2 years the police seized 260 kilos of cocaine, the smugglers avoid detection by using the mangroves on Jamaica's shoreline.
Yeah, this is part of the mangrove that we have found vessels, right, hidden under the mangroves, yeah, laden with drugs. The mangroves form a canopy. It's difficult to be seen if you're just sailing past or if you even use like a helicopter. It's difficult. The drug runners can always be there, and you stand up here and look down there, you don't see them. They're always trying to stay one step ahead of us, and we are always trying to stay one step ahead of them. It's an ongoing, it's a tug of war, you know, between them and us.
It's not just drugs that find a way onto the island. Every year, hundreds of illegal guns make their way to Jamaica. These are used in the frequent shootings that occur across the country. In 2007, the police seized 630 guns, but it's impossible to stop them all. Back on the streets, Patrol Cop Corporal Lewis is facing the grim reality of the weapons which find their way into the hands of the criminals.
There is a murder up by Rallington Town.
Rawlington Town is one of Kingston's most notorious neighbourhoods. Here, as in the rest of the country, death is nothing unusual. In 2007, only 6 days of the year passed where no Jamaican was reported murdered. Lewis's unit have been called in to help process the crime scene.
A man came up and shoot somebody who lives over here. And he succumbed to the injuries at the hospital. Typical what happened in Jamaica, in the corporate area of Kingston.
So the guy that was shot is dead?
Yes, he is dead. One shot to the head and he's dead at the hospital. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. When you look at the type of armor that these guys have, and you have few in numbers and they have real powerful weapons. you have to wonder and think back, where does these weapons come from? How does these weapons reach into the hands of a teenager? Oh,
You can't afford to buy food. Barefooted, without shirt, in some torn clothes. At the same time, they have rifles valued $300,000.
Exactly. So how does a weapon like that magnitude reach into the hands of criminals?
Gang crime in Kingston has a long and violent history, dating back more than 40 years.
Violence is no stranger to the streets of Kingston. In 1962, Jamaica gained independence from Great Britain, and two political parties vied for control of the island. Gangs were formed with allegiances to these parties, and down the years, election time sees mass violence spill onto the streets. More than 40 years later, they are still at war. And the sorry testament to this is that Kingston is one of the world's deadliest cities. In this dangerous city, when the public are in trouble, they call in the police. But when the police are in trouble, they call in the flying squad, the JCF's elite unit.
Flying Squad 1, Captain S.C. Ford.
Heading up the squad is Superintendent Cornwall Bigger Ford, a tough, no-nonsense cop who's been fighting crime on the streets of Kingston for over 30 years.
What is actually happening there? Some shooting up in the Concert Spring area. One man has been shot and killed, another person injured, and a police was also shot and injured. The Flying Squad team, we are going up there to give our assistance right now. As you see, it's quite dangerous, you know. Very, very dangerous under. Take the right turn.
With the shootout still taking place and the cops still under fire, they are racing to get over to the other side of town in the middle of rush hour traffic.
My team, the men are in armored gear. We are using the M16 rifles and stuff. So, you know, we go prepared. You know, when an officer is down, it's almost like I am down also. Control Flying Squad 1. All right, we are in the Kosovo Peace area. This is the area where there's an ongoing gang warfare.
Being such a well-known cop in Kingston, Ford's presence at the crime scene provokes a reaction from the local community.
What really are going on? How would that dead down there, sir? A outer man. There's so much outer man about the place.
Place mashed up. Only him can cool it, only him can bring it back. He big up for the hero everywhere him go. Him know if to deal with the citizens the right way. Him know everybody, him know the right and the wrong.
Ford needs to find out exactly what has happened.
Well, what we're seeing here now, it's a police fatal shooting. Information coming to me is that there was a shooting on Manningsville Road earlier where a man was shot and killed. The police were in pursuit of some people
And during the shootout, this man was shot and killed. The police was also shot and killed. But what is actually happening, there's an ongoing feud between two set of gangs in the area.
It's not even 9 a.m. and 4 dead bodies, one a cop, are already on their way to the morgue. For the cops in Kingston, mornings like this are all too common, making it one of the toughest beats in the world.
In Jamaica, the police are fighting a deadly crime wave, with 4 murders happening every day. In the capital city of Kingston, for the cops, it's kill or be killed.
For Superintendent Cornwall Bigger Ford, head of the flying squad, his working week is only an hour old, and he has already got 4 murders, 1 a fellow cop to deal with.
Bit hot. Lot of problems.
More than any other cop in Kingston, Ford has the ear of the community, so he begins to question the locals about the morning shootings to try to find out what happened.
Hey, Willa! You know, police dead. You know, had a man dead last night, man dead today again. What go on in the area? One, him dead, you know. Him them say kill the police, you know. Yeah, man, the policeman dead. As you see, there's a lot of concerned citizens because they need the violence to be stopped, to be curtailed immediately. Everything all right, I see them shoot up your area.
I need to speak to you.
No? No, go over the plaza. I tell you the boy that mash up the place. We are dealing with it. I mean, me personally, I deal with it. All right? All right, so you have my number, call me, yeah? All right.
She knows something about the shooting?
Yes, it appeared that way. 778-4522. 778-4522. You see, I've been giving my number all day. You see, people will take the number and call you. Yeah, man, I'm dead, man. Bad news always travel fast, especially in Jamaica.
See, it get worse till police come dead now. How we are going to manage? We don't know how we are going to manage.
Well, the citizen, the police, and everybody have to get together and tap it. You have to be the teacher, you have to be the doctor, you have to be the social worker. You have to do all things.
Ford has tracked down the location where the shootout began.
Side lead bullet. These are some spent shell that were earlier fired in a case of a murder and injure another man. What actually happened, the police came here to investigate, got some information and went after the men who it's alleged did the shooting, and then you had a confrontation around on the gully bank.
Mr. Ford, I noticed a lot of the other cops on the scene are wearing body armour and protection. How come you're not?
I am a believer, and it's by faith that's why I'm here.
Being a cop in Kingston for over 30 years, Ford's life has been on the line more times than he would care to remember.
I've been shot twice. Lot of incident. The latest one that comes to memories, I came out of a store on Red Hills Road. I heard some shots and saw 2 men running towards me with guns in hand. And they fired at me. And I took them on and both of them were shot and killed. The guns were recovered and also the cash that they had robbed was recovered. So, you know, you can get lucky sometimes.
How do your family feel about it?
Well, my family has grown with it. All they do is just pray and hope that I'm safe. My wife is a Christian, and she does believe. And I think it's her grace and her prayers and her belief that is probably keeping me.
With murder an everyday thing, the sheer volume of death can seem unmanageable for the cops, with an endless line of faceless victims. Jamaica sees up to 4 murders every single day. And with the violence in some of the neighbourhoods spiralling out of control, Sergeant Tommy Lee Chambers is charged with trying to keep the peace while maintaining a presence in these volatile areas.
It is not unusual for us to be going around and picking up dead bodies.
But with outbreaks of violence being unpredictable, Sergeant Chambers is always putting herself in the firing line.
Whenever I come here, then I ask the question, am I going to get to go back home to see my daughter or to see the rest of my family? But you see, when you know your community and you communicate with these people, so you can know when to come and when not to come.
A recent round of violence has claimed the life of an innocent girl. Chambers has been called in to try and keep the peace.
We are going to the Burger Gully community to visit the parents of little Coley. She was shot a couple of months ago in the community, but she had succumbed last night at the hospital. So we are going in to have a talk with her family. It was just a drive-by shooting that occurred. We don't know the reason behind it, but it was just a drive-by shooting. She was just standing at the wrong place at the wrong time.
In 2006, 65 children were killed in Jamaica, many of whom were innocent victims of gangland warfare. Jamaica has a culture of reprisal killings, where one shooting often leads to another. Chambers' task is to ensure that the thoughts of the grieving family don't turn into violence.
Miss Althea! Miss Althea!
Thursday our birthday and we did not keep something for her up there. She did.
With talk of revenge in the air, tensions are running high.
Listen to me, I am talking to you. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. If they kill that man, and that man dead and gone, so how you would feel? You would, I still wouldn't feel comfortable. No, I still wouldn't feel comfortable within myself. But Daddy, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Daddy, I wouldn't feel comfortable within myself if I just say, oh, no, go and go kill him. I would like to sit him down and to say to him, what is the reason why you kill him? Do not encourage Althea in that way. Fatty, come here. No encourage Althea in that way. You have to make Althea be strong. I know some agree, but listen to me. You can't encourage her that way.
Chambers and her colleagues face an uphill battle to stop the violence. In 2007 in Jamaica, there were 82 double murders, 10 triple murders, and 5 quadruple murders. Far from an island paradise, Kingston is one of the most violent cities on the planet. Something Detective Patrick Crosby of the Murder Investigation Unit is all too familiar with. His shift is not a question of when he'll be called to a murder scene, but how many times.
You'll be here and sometimes you go through a 10-day period with maybe 1 or 2 murders. You know what I mean? And another time you'll have, as we see here, 9, 10 murders. You know? So it all depends on what happens out there. We can't determine that. Going to crime scenes for me over my 21 years service in this work is not getting any easier on the mind. It may got easier on the eyes because I've gotten used to seeing it so much that it may be easier on the eyes. But mentally, it's not good. It keeps going around in my head. Why do this continues to happen?
1 hour into the shift, a call comes through from Central Dispatch.
It's a homicide we have out in the Kingston 2 area. We understand it's a gun-related murder.
With his team of forensic experts, Crosby heads to the crime scene. But the area is still not secured. The first patrol unit to arrive were fired on by the killers.
We were trying to pose the scene. We were fired on from across the...
You were fired on?
Yeah.
Did you have to return fire?
We had to take over.
It's a part of the Mountain View Avenue, which usually gives problems.
Hearing that his fellow officers have been under fire, Corporal Lewis from the Mobile Patrol Unit has rushed to the murder scene to give backup. Along with the rest of his unit, they are now hunting the gunman down. Meanwhile, Detective Crosby starts to examine the body. Just like him, the locals have seen it all before.
We're here, the very volatile here of Kingston. If you should look around, you'll see how much army personnel we have here in this location. It's like this. These guys are not firing any small caliber weapons. They are firing high-powered weapons, so they can stay at a far distance to fire on you. You know, so it's very, very difficult when you have to attend to crime scene here or respond to any shootings. Very difficult, you know. But it takes good heart, strong will to really continue doing the job.
While the crime scene is being processed, the search continues for the killers.
Someone else got shot, so we are just making a check in this vicinity to see if we see anyone.
As a crowd gathers at the crime scene, someone recognises the lifeless body laying in the street.
Is him? Hmm? What relation is he to you? Your father? And you're what relation to him? Okay. All right, just come this way. Let's soon make you get to look at him. All right, maybe you can't talk to me here now. Come here. What's his name?
On the other side of the neighbourhood, the killers have escaped and Lewis's hunt comes to an end.
How come you're the only one here not wearing a vest?
No, you know, I came at work and I have to just rush out when I heard that the guys were under fire.
So you're putting your own safety at stake to help your colleagues out?
It's one cause. So we're like musketeers, you know, we fight together.
You lost a lot of colleagues in this kind of war?
Well, I lost a close colleague of mine just 2 weeks ago. He took a taxi and they were robbing the taxi and somehow they recognized and realized that he was a police officer and they held him up and shot him twice and dumped his body on the roadway. So, you know, it's really hard to know that you and somebody was like this close and you have lost them to some violent attacks. So, you know, that's just basically it.
So he was killed because he was a cop?
Definitely.
And how does that make you feel? That he was...
Very bad, honestly. It makes you feel very bad. It's a bit discouraging. But guess what? If everyone should drop their arms and say, well, they will not, as a result of what is happening, we would not have a force to fight anything, and crime would go on a rampage. You understand? Somebody have to do it. You understand? So that's just basically it.
Back at the crime scene, and after questioning a number of people, Crosby has gained some important facts about the killing.
We have gathered so far that it could be some reprisal killing. A killing that went on maybe about 2 months ago from a man from the neighboring community. And we are understanding that it could be a link. It could be a reprisal for that murder. You see, this reprisal killing in these communities is a tit for tat. Man kill one, another one kill back another one, they kill two, you kill two, or the killing goes on. You know, where it ends, we don't know. People do tend to believe or take life as it is cheap, which me and you know that it's not, but they tend to treat people's lives like it is cheap.
Oh, shall I go home? Shall I go home?
Right back to normal. As far as the pedestrians, the civilians are concerned, it's just back to normal. It's like life is going on. It's just another part of it. Another man has died. Oh, it happened yesterday and the day before. You know what I mean? It's just another part of life. You become so used to seeing these things, it's like nothing no more. You know? Just like that.
We're on one of the toughest beats in the world, Kingston, Jamaica, where violent crime and murder are part of everyday life. This is one of the world's toughest beats. Every day for the police is a battle against a war on crime. A war that shows little sign of ending. It's Friday night in downtown Kingston, and Detective Patrick Crosby is already knee-deep in the first murder investigation of the night.
The first 24 hours to any crime, whether it be homicide or shootings, is most important. If you should catch a relative or a close friend of any victim within the first 24 hours, when they're in their state of distress, distraught, and because maybe the anger that is built up inside them, they will tell you things. But if you should allow that 24 hours to escape, and they should speak to other people who sometimes influences them not to speak to the police, then all of that is gone. What relation is he to you? You don't know if he had any fuss with anyone in the fight. I just want to know if she's safe because we saw her on the scene of the death of her dad. You heard that that fellow was killed about a month or so ago. You never heard of him being involved in any criminality, in a gun. Your niece's father. What's the name of that person? I'm hearing that it could be some reprisal for that killing. You wouldn't know who wanted to harm him. So for a policeman to be here and each time I go on the street, I am seeing dead bodies on the road or a dead body on the road, it saddens me. If you should check the motive for these crimes, sometimes it's not really anything. Sometimes it's just a fuss over the simplest of things cause a man to take a man's life. And that saddens me even more.
As Crosby's shift continues, Lewis's is coming to an end. It's 8 a.m. and he and his unit have just finished a 14-hour patrol. And thankfully, they're all still in one piece.
Wasn't all that hectic though? Like something.
Being a cop in Kingston is a dangerous occupation.
Seriously.
Coming back with all 30 rounds, Lewis hasn't had to use any of his ammunition. It's been a good night.
Letting the family know that you're finished the shift safely.
Oh, well, I've done that already. Can't make calls already.
Sharon, are you happy with the way the shift went last night?
Very much. But only the one incident where somebody was murdered, that kind of threw it off for us. We would like to have a night where no crime is committed, no one gets killed, and everyone is okay. The educated man will tell us that crime is healthy. Because if it wasn't for crime, we wouldn't have a job and stuff like that. So crime is healthy. And there's no country, I think, of zero crime. None whatsoever.
Welcome to a world where shootings, kidnappings and gang warfare are just part of the job. We're going on the journey to meet the real deal. Law enforcers who put their lives on the line every day, patrolling the most dangerous beats on the planet. So buckle up, because we're about to roll with the world's toughest cops.
We're heading out with cops from 8 different countries across 6 continents as they fight crime in some of the world's most dangerous places. From the no-go areas of Kingston, Jamaica, and robbery-ridden streets of South Africa, to the drug industry jungles of Colombia, and treacherous favelas of Brazil. These cops patrol very different beats, but they have much in common. Every day is a constant battle to uphold the law. Every day they face criminals who don't think twice about killing. And every day could be their last. For the world's toughest cops, facing death is a daily routine.
Come on, let's go.
There's some shooting up in the Kansas Spring area. One man has been shot and killed, and a police was also shot and injured.
It's a few dangerous, but I like the action.
Stay in the car, stay in the car. He's armed, he's dangerous.
I'd rather die in an accident than retire.
In South Africa, there are 50 murders every day. And every 3 days, a cop is killed. Shootouts, muggings, rape and arson are the order of the day.
Situated on the east coast of South Africa is the city of Durban. The busiest port in the continent. It has a population of nearly 3.5 million people. Its sandy beaches and subtropical climate have made it a popular tourist destination. But like everywhere in South Africa, Durban has its problems with crime. From armed robbery and gun violence to ATM bombings and carjackings, it has it all. It's Friday evening in central Durban. Detective Dina Govender of the Organised Crime Unit knows it will be a busy night for the cops.
Today is Friday. Normally Durban Central area are is extremely busy and expected lots of crime should be committed, as some guys will be under the influence of alcohol and committing crimes, from petty crimes to serious crimes.
It's not long before there's a report of a serious incident. An armed robbery is in progress at a downtown department store. Dina and Inspector Scuba Reddy head to the location. They are looking for 4 suspects, 2 of whom are armed.
Where's he? Where? He's here inside. We can see him, he's out there. Come in!
One of the suspects is apprehended.
Pull him out. Pull him inside. Pull him inside. Take him out. Come out.
But another is still on the loose somewhere in the store.
Let's confirm. He's up there. What's up? Upstairs, come. He's got through the window. Come on, Someone said drop, yeah. He jumped through the window. Where's the window in the back? How do you get back in the back? How do you get back? Come! What's happening here is there's 2 suspects arrested so far. One of the firearm, the full-arm robbery. They ran initially into Ackermans, and now they've gone into Woolworths. They jumped onto the ceiling, and one guy's still at large.
Okay.
Yeah, he's armed, he's dangerous.
Are you going to go get him?
Yes, we're going to get him.
We're rolling with some of the toughest cops in the world. Guys who put their lives on the line every day of the week, every week of the year.
Right up there with Iraq. South Africa is one of the most dangerous countries on earth, and the cops patrolling the streets are the foot soldiers in the war against crime.
Stay in the car.
Dina Govender of the Organised Crime Squad is at the scene of an armed robbery in a busy Durban shopping centre. One of the robbers has been arrested, but another is still at large trying to evade the cops. So Dina heads round to the back of the store.
We're just trying to see exactly where they're going to come out from.
Dina spots something at one of the exits and quickly moves in.
We're just waiting in the car, Alex. Dangerous.
They are closing in and have the armed man cornered. Police! It's too dangerous for the crew to get any closer. After a 20-minute chase, the armed robber was cornered.
The guy shot himself. The policeman injured, he fell from the second floor. The guy ran down and he went to the corner and he shot himself dead. So his gun found there.
From Africa, we're heading north to Europe. In the south of the continent lies Kosovo, a region whose instability allowed organised crime to flourish. In the last year of the 20th century, Kosovo was devastated by war. With no established law and order, the Kosovo Police Service was set up to try and bring stability to the region. After the Balkan War tore through the region at the end of the 1990s, the criminal underworld moved in. They abused the political instability and lack of law enforcement, establishing Kosovo as a base for their lucrative trade. But the Kosovo Police Service, the KPS, is fighting back. They've set up a specialist unit to combat the increasingly influential underworld. Major Hadji Kriznicki is the Deputy Chief of the Department Against Organised Crime. He's on the front line in the fight against Kosovo's gangs.
Fighting organized crime is something special because we know that we are doing this job to serve our people, to have Kosovo without narcotics. This is high motivation.
Today, Hadji is masterminding a raid on a large crime gang who he suspects are about to engage in a huge heroin deal. In this remote village, 20 miles from police headquarters, Hadji's team have got the gang's base surrounded. It's time to go in and the raid is on. The team let Hadji know they've got one of the suspects.
Bravo, bravo! Jo med precision, jo. Power forensika. They was planning to exchange the drugs with the money, and we just hit in this moment.
As well as finding one of the suspects, they've also seized a huge quantity of heroin.
They found more than 10 kilos. They said around 15 kilos, but we will learn when we arrive right now. This group is mixed, combined by Turkish citizens from Turkey and Kosovars. We are suspect that the drugs arrived from Turkey. They brought some materials to mix the drugs to make it more than it was.
This is a significant bust for Hadji's team. They've seized a huge amount of drugs and arrested 2 suspected members of a drug smuggling gang. He is soon on the scene to take control.
All drugs is here, but the investigators are doing a search in this house.
More drugs?
or more drugs and weapons.
But it seems that the day's work is not quite over. One of the gang is hiding on the roof. They get hold of him and pull him down from the roof. With all that firepower, he didn't stand a chance.
Що це їбали? Бали масом, бали. Іди, чому ти пусть? Чому ти пусть? Чому ти пусть?
För det är som en transport. Sitten ne luma pushit unna tamoren heta ustvak.
Regular, tu skira.
Hadi.
The gang members could be looking at up to 10 years. A huge success in the KPS's fight against organised crime. Our journey following the world's toughest cops continues in Colombia, the second largest country in South America. For the cops in Colombia, fighting against the billion-dollar drug industry means embarking on dangerous missions deep into enemy territory. This is the Colombian National Police anti-narcotics base, San Jose del Guevara. Here, Colonel Gustavo Chavarro leads an elite division of the drug squad. Chavarro's men are getting ready for a major operation. This is the front line on the war on drugs. Colombia produces 70% of the world's cocaine. Chavarro and his men take on the drugs trade at source, destroying drug crops and factories. To do this, they must fly deep into territory under the armed control of the drug cartels and anti-government guerrillas. They've paid a heavy price. 17 officers killed and 29 wounded on recent eradication missions. As dawn breaks, Colonel Chavarro kits up for today's raid on the suspected drugs lab.
Que Dios nos da las armas es para defender nuestros ideales y para de calibre 5.56. Es un arma muy buena. Voy a llevar unos hombres a un sitio extremadamente peligroso.
After 40 minutes in the air, the unit enters lands under the armed control of narco-terrorists. Police aircraft have been shot down in this area before. The GAU 17 miniguns aren't just for show. Each can spray the jungle with 50 rounds a second.
En este sector vemos que hay una gran cantidad de plantas de coca.
The Colombian jungle is dotted with 100,000 hectares of coca crops, often guarded with landmines and booby traps.
Los bombarderos a la vista. Ok, plataforma Coyote, elemento número 1 entrando al punto.
Estamos en el punto del laboratorio. Ya los comandos junglas encontraron el primer objetivo.
The Black Hawks circle the target, scanning the canopy for potential threats. The lead helicopter moves into position.
La aeronave, los pilotos están haciendo todo lo posible para poder aterrizar, ya que los árboles son demasiado altos, impiden que el aterrizaje sea positivo.
After circling for 5 minutes, Salvador gives the go-ahead.
Ok, detrás de caliente, disparen.
They move in to surround the building.
¿Por aquí ya hay alguien? ¿Pero será que alguna trampa o qué?
The building appears to be empty, but the unit have to be on their guard against possible ambushes.
Ok, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Cómo está la situación?
It looks as though the criminals have fled at the noise of the approaching helicopters, but the police have found what they're looking for. A recently harvested coca crop, chemicals and equipment for making cocaine.
Listo, ¿cuánto estimamos?
A lab this size could produce more than a ton of cocaine every month, with a UK street value of £45 million. With the possibility that the drug producers are still nearby, the cops are vulnerable to attack from the surrounding jungle. They have to work quickly.
Vamos a colocar las cargas explosivas para hacer la destrucción. Están tomando fotografías y están haciendo el embalaje de la parte judicial para hacerlo lo más rápido posible. ¿Cuánto tiempo tenemos? ¿15 minutos máximo? Máximo 15 minutos, 10 minutos. Listo, vámonos, vámonos. 7 minutos, sí. Ok, saliendo. Listo, saliendo, saliendo.
With the explosives set, the men start to move out.
Saliendo, saliendo, saliendo.
Located on the Pacific coast of Central America, El Salvador is a country the size of Wales and has a population of just under 7 million. Gang conflict in El Salvador means the cops often find themselves patrolling areas where violence is rife. Here in El Salvador, the two biggest gangs are at war. Mara Salvatrucha, or MS, and 18th Street. Every month, 1,000 gang members are deported back to El Salvador from the United States. The gangs were originally formed on the streets of Los Angeles after thousands of Salvadorans had fled the Civil War. Since the fighting ended and the peace agreement was signed, the US government has systematically deported this newly trained criminal element back home. But still the number of gang members on the streets grows daily. Because of the high level of gang crime, several special units have been set up to keep them in check. One of these is the Interceptores. The leader of this 9-man team is Captain Humberto Flores Aragon, an experienced war veteran. He has been in the force for 16 years. Born and raised in the gang-ravaged colonias, El Salvador's ghettos, he knows these streets better than most.
Relevante hoy este día. Algo de acción.
Me gusta la acción.
A mí me gusta bastante la acción.
The Interceptores head into Soyapango, a gritty working-class area and a former leftist guerrilla stronghold. Just as the unit enter the area, their attention is drawn towards a group of people waving frantically from a nearby hillside.
Rápido, 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 rápido.
They are first first on the scene to a daylight double murder.
Oíme, coordiname con 160. Aquí en la 50 tenemos dos muertos que hace unos 5 o 10 minutos, sujetos desconocidos, nos vinieron a dar muerte aquí a la zona.
2 factory workers have been gunned down while eating in a roadside cafe. Having arrived minutes after, Umberto knows the gang members who committed the crime could still be nearby. Being the only unit on the scene, they can't leave until the crime scene investigators arrive. So Umberto tries to find out exactly what happened from the many witnesses.
Aquí está más claro que los pandilleros de la MS les han venido a dar muerte, porque aquí esta colonia es dominada por las pandillas de la MS.
As the crime scene investigators take over, Umberto coordinates his unit to go in search of the killers.
Esta zona es colorada con las pandillas MS. Si llegamos más antes, los logramos agarrar. Pero lástima que ya estaban ahí palmados. Pues supuestamente el móvil creo que debe haber sido el robo, la muerte de ellos.
In El Salvador, there is a strong revolutionary anti-government feeling, and so protests are commonplace. On the 5th of July 2006, a student protest over an increase in bus fares turned ugly. And the riot squad were called in. In what was to become the deadliest confrontation in the unit's history, 2 officers were killed and 16 were seriously injured. Jimmy Cisneros was part of the 3rd platoon deployed to restore order, and he was one of the officers who was hurt. On the morning of the riot, the UMO squad pressed forward, firing tear gas and rubber bullets, trying to disperse the crowd.
A los 25 metros de haber avanzado, pues nos empezaron a lanzar bombas molotov, piedras, bombas de humo. Luego que ya nos habíamos quedado sin ver nada, pues de repente empezamos a sentir que nos disparaban.
A lone gunman with an M16 opened fire on the advancing unit. Jimmy was at the front and was shot once in the knee and again in the arm.
El momento de los impactos de bala, pues uno se siente bien, se siente nervioso. Se siente uno que se le va la vida y uno solo piensa en la familia. Yo en ese momento pensé en mis hijos, en mi esposa, que tal vez nunca los iba a volver a ver porque uno no sabía la dureza de las lesiones que podía tener uno.
2 officers were killed instantly, one with a bullet to the head and one straight through the heart. Jimmy was between them.
Yo vi a los 2 compañeros, al compañero Rubí, lo vi a mi izquierda, porque al momento que yo sentí el disparo en la rodilla, yo me fui al suelo y caí en el hombro de él. Él ya estaba en el suelo. Cuando yo lo vuelvo a ver, él ya estaba inmóvil, ya estaba con la mirada bien perdida. Pero yo no me podía mover y cuando vuelvo a ver a mi derecha estaba el compañero Navarrete también. Él sí, yo supuse que estaba muerto en el momento porque tenía un disparo en la cabeza. Pues sí, me siento mal al recordar eso porque pues desde ese día para acá ya mi vida cambió, pues, ya no es la misma. No sé, ya las cuestiones cotidianas que uno hacía, correr, jugar fútbol, jugar basquetbol, ya no las puedo hacer. Simplemente caminar. Ya cambió mi vida, un giro completo.
Papua New Guinea, or PNG, is located in the southwestern Pacific Ocean, just to the north of Australia.
Papua New Guinea and its capital Port Moresby. The cops are up against violent criminals whose disregard for the law means they fear nothing.
On the 23rd of December 1999, an audacious robbery signalled the start of a new crime wave in PNG. 4 armed criminals, dressed as army officers, hijacked a helicopter and attempted to rob a bank in what became known as the Millennium Robbery. Sergeant David Terry was one of the first police officers called to the scene.
What happened was they flew all the way to town and landed the chopper right on top of the bank, right behind me. After landing the chopper, the gunmen entered the bank through the top and they wanted to rob the bank. They wanted to open the vaults.
But faced with armed resistance from the bank's security guards, the gang fled empty-handed and tried to escape in the helicopter.
All the people in town looking at the chopper on the top of the building it was very dramatic. There was a policeman who was on duty at the town police station. He ran in front of the building, took out his shotgun and shot at the helicopter as the chopper was trying to lift off from the building. The pellet hit the side of the chopper, and as the chopper was taking off towards the Port Moresby harbour, it crashed right in front of the waterfront. This is the scene where the helicopter came down, here.
Despite crashing 80 feet to the ground, the gang survived and were determined to get away.
The occupants scrambled out and they started shooting at the police. So there was a gunfight going on here.
The innocent pilot was trapped in the crossfire.
The pilot was saved. The pilot was taken to safety by members of the police who were at the front of the harbour.
With all bystanders out the way, the battle intensified.
The boys, they stood their ground and they shot 3 on the spot.
3 of the gang members died immediately, while the 4th was caught by the police, having been injured in the shootout.
You were lucky, mate.
One of them was shot and captured, but because the boys were using very high-powered weapons, you know, he sustained a lot of injuries, and as he was taken to the hospital, he succumbed to his injuries and died.
Had you ever seen anything like it before?
No, not in my history with the police force.
It's urban warfare, and the cops are fighting a daily battle that they patrol one of the toughest beats on the planet. A place that witnesses almost 100 murders a week. This is Brazil. This is Sao Paulo.
Brazil is the largest country in Latin America. Its biggest city, Sao Paulo, lies 50 miles from the coast in the southwest of the country. Tackling crime in such a heaving cauldron of people needs more than just a regular police force. At GOI, the Special Operations Group, they are always preparing for the worst. Rafael Marston and his team are put through their paces every week.
Vai pegar o Zeca!
In charge is Senior Officer Paulinho Cesar.
Bora, bora, é o último!
Sim, nós rezamos aqui. Nós pedimos a Santa Maria Mãe de Deus que nos perdoe pelas pessoas que nós vamos matar. Que elas permitam que o tiro do nosso rifle atinja e destrua os corações malditos. E que Deus Nosso Senhor receba essas almas e as mande de volta à terra, para que nós possamos matá-los novamente. Amém.
Tonight they are preparing to make an insursion into one of the city's slums. The favelas are often unpoliceable or simply off limits to the cops. One of these is Charles Colombo, where Goy are heading tonight.
It's a very, very dangerous neighborhood. It's the enemy territory. When you do a patrol in a favela, you can always get shot.
They're heading in to search known drug dealing locations.
The bad guys are in strategic positions, ready to defend and ready to combat. They see any police officer approaching. Now we turn off the lights because we are approaching to the favela. Looking a little quiet.
Quiet streets mean high risk for police. If the drug dealers are active when the cops arrive, local people stay in their homes for fear of getting caught in the crossfire. The team are looking for known drug dealing locations, but the ever-changing maze of unfamiliar alleys make patrolling favelas difficult and dangerous.
Muda quase que diariamente. O corredor que está aqui hoje, amanhã não vai estar mais. E o corredor que hoje tem, amanhã não tem saída.
Round the next corner, Paulinho thinks he spotted something.
Limpo. Essas escadas posicionadas assim, que não dão em lugar nenhum, são as escadas da fuga do tráfico. É sinal que o pessoal do tráfico fica por aqui.
They proceed with caution.
Limpou comigo. Limpou. Vai, vai. Limpou, vai.
On this occasion, they find nothing. It's not safe for the cops to stay in the favela for too long, so they fall back to the patrol cars.
Vem, 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 vem!
The dealers were probably tipped off about their arrival, but for Paulinho, just having a presence here is a success for the police.
É importante que a gente mantenha a presença constante nessas favelas de maior risco. Então, se a gente não vier fazer patrulhas nessas favelas, o crime toma conta. Tem que... Foi trabalho muito bom.
Here in Sao Paulo, the cops are all going home in one piece. But on the streets of Kingston, Jamaica, a policeman has been gunned down.
The Jamaican capital of Kingston is a breeding ground for violent crime. So for the cops, each day at work is literally a matter of life or death.
Jamaica has one of the highest murder rates in the world, with one committed every 9 hours. Rival gangs have turned parts of the Jamaican capital of Kingston into hostile war zones. Every day for the police is a battle against a war on crime. A war that shows little sign of ending. And leading this fight is the Flying Squad, the Jamaican police's elite unit.
Flying Squad 1, Captain S.T. Ford.
Heading up the squad is Superintendent Cornwall Bigger Ford, a tough, no-nonsense cop who's been fighting crime on the streets of Kingston for over 30 years.
What is actually happening there? Some shooting up in the Concert Spring area. One man has been shot and killed, another person injured, and a police was also shot and injured. The Flying Squad team, we are going up there to give our assistance right now. As you see, it's quite dangerous, you know. Very, very dangerous on earth. Take the right turn.
With the shootout still taking place and the cops still under fire, they are racing to get over to the other side of town in the middle of rush hour traffic.
My team, the men are in armored gear. We are using the M16 rifles and stuff. So, you know, we go prepared. You know, when an officer is down, it's almost like I am down also. Control Flying Squad 1. All right, we are in the Cassava Peace area. This is the area where there's an ongoing gang warfare.
Being such a well-known cop in Kingston, Ford's presence at the crime scene provokes a reaction from the local community.
What really are going on? How would that dead down there, sir? A outer man. There's so much outer man about the place.
Place mash up. Only him can cool it, only him can bring it back. He big up for the hero everywhere him go. Him know if he deal with the citizens the right way. Him know everybody, him know the right and the wrong.
Ford needs to find out exactly what has happened.
Well, what we see here now, it's a police fatal shooting. Information coming to me is that there was a shooting on Maninzil Road earlier where a man was shot and killed. The police were in pursuit of some people, and during the shootout, this man was shot and killed. The police was also shot and killed. But what is actually happening, there's an ongoing feud between two sets of gangs in the area.
It's not even 9 a.m. and 4 dead bodies, one a cop, are already on their way to the morgue. For the cops in Kingston, mornings like this are all too common, making it one of the toughest beats in the world. But wherever they are, the most important thing for a cop is being able to live to fight another day. And that has as much to do with luck as judgment.
Mr. Ford, I noticed a lot of the other cops on the scene are wearing body armour and protection. How come you're not?
I am a believer, and it's by faith that's why I'm here. I've been shot twice. Latter incident, I came out of a store on Red Hills Road. I heard some shots, and saw two men running towards me with guns in hand. And they fired at me. And I took them on and both of them were shot and killed. So, you know, you can get lucky sometimes.